Let's get down to business. Thanks for coming out tonight.
I wrote me a manual, a step-by-step booklet for you to get.
Oh, I make money moves.
You can't see me, my time is now.
What up? Welcome back to another episode of the MassiveJoes Show podcast, episode 12. My name is Joseph Mencel, CEO of MassiveJoes, your host of the MassiveJoes Show podcast.
Done it again.
That's my standard intro now.
He's like the
host.
the king, big kahuna.
The hostess with the mostess. You know what I'm saying?
He's the lead character in his own story.
I'm joined in this episode.
He's the kind of guy that would name a business after himself and put his own name to it.
He'd put his name on the building. I'm joined in this episode at 12 once again by my partners in crime. Is that better?
Sidekicks.
I was going to go. I was about to say. I was going to go with disciples, but you know, we'll go with partners in crime. Of course, MassiveJoes General Manager, the Big Neve.
Hello.
MassiveJoes Distribution Manager, the Big Swole Bear.
How's it going?
What's happening, fellas? Back again.
Very good. Really good.
All three of us.
Well, Swole hasn't been here for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, I know. Like
You
bring Jonesy in, world champion, and just leave me out.
You missed out on episode 11, the extremely popular interview with Gentex CEO, world champion bodybuilder Nick Jones, who, as a matter of fact, won the overall last weekend in the Classic Physique New South Wales Arnold qualifier.
Mate, like he hadn't even left the stage.
Mate,
just brought it back.
Listen, he is going to be, very difficult to beat at the Arnold.
Well,
I'm excited to see it.
Just to see what, like he hasn't been there for 10 years and to see him come back and just do that and obliterate the competition. It was ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Anyway, that was last episode. This is this episode, episode 12. The three of us back again, dropping knowledge bombs on you guys. The title of this episode is Simple But Not Easy. The importance of doing the basics consistently. And the justification, or I guess the reasoning behind doing this episode was I actually dropped you guys a message over a week ago now. And I said, this is the title of the next episode of the podcast. So this is what we're going to talk about. And the reason why it kind of came up was I've been noticing both in fitness and business, I've been noticing people don't tend to want to do the things that are really simple, the basics, so to speak. They just don't tend to do them. They don't tend to execute on the basics. They don't tend to execute on the things that are simple. And the nature of the things that are simple, I think, kind of encourages people not to do them consistently. And I thought it would be a really cool episode for this podcast because, of course, we talk about fitness and business. And I had noticed both things in my daily dealings with people in fitness and my own experience in fitness, and then my daily dealings with, obviously, this business and people inside this business. So the way I wanted to structure this podcast is similar to how we've done podcasts in the past. Obviously, we're going to touch on fitness and business, but I wanted to ask you guys to give me some specific examples for us to then discuss and see what we can kind of pull out of them in terms of fitness, things that you see that are simple but not easy, and therefore you're seeing things that you're like, man, like you just do this shit. And it frustrates you that people just don't do this shit. Or maybe you frustrate yourself. You think of things you do yourself or don't do yourself that are simple. And then I'm going to ask you guys to give me an example for business as well. And we're going to discuss. And we're going to see what comes out of it.
Done.
Because I've been thinking about it's very similar to episode 10 where we discussed patience and consistency. I've been thinking about this a lot, but I still for myself don't really have clarity around it, which is why I wanted to talk to you guys about it, and hopefully we can get some good.
So we don't have clarity yet. So this is like group therapy, but we're just recording it.
Mate, let me tell you, the MassiveJoes Show podcast are my group therapy sessions.
So I think we've got to get some couches in here.
I think that's the next progression, right? We've gone from the filming studio here at MJHQ to the boardroom. Now I think we need to build like a dedicated podcast studio with like
couches, and we can't look at each other,
and we just sit down and lie
and
down.
We'll try and tell you what they represent.
That's it. That's it. All right, so let's begin with fitness, fellas. Give me an example of something that you either do yourself, being aware, or that you see other people do. That's simple, but not easy.
Man, I guess if you're looking around like gyms that you see people training at, all the time.
Yeah.
And you look at the basic fundamental exercises that people's physiques are built upon, when you look at the compound movements like deadlifts and bench presses and squats and the things that you should learn to do from the start, but yet you don't see people doing.
Yeah.
That's, I guess, one that frustrates me. I think why, and people think, you hear them say all the time, I can't build my legs. And it's like, well, do you squat? Oh, no, I can't squat. Why not? Because you've never done it. So that's one thing for me personally that I guess sort of frustrates me straight off the bat, is because it's such a simple, fundamental movement. Like babies can squat. They come out of the womb, you can actually squat. But, we get to an age where we go, it's just too hard to do it. Deadlift, same thing. Very fundamental movement. But people just decide not to do it because they're tough. They're grueling. They put a lot of stress on your body.
Yeah, and so this is where I've been thinking about this a fair bit, and I just want to draw the parallel between not doing things because they're difficult, right, and not doing things for fuck knows what reason because they're not difficult, they're simple.
Yeah.
And I think that you're kind of like erring towards the side here where a lot of people, let's take squatting for example, who don't squat, and you ask them why they don't squat, is because it's difficult, right? It's not actually inherently simple. It's actually difficult. So I think I want to go.
I'm going to chunk it back
the next level.
All right, I'm going to chunk it back one more, and I'm going to throw one in, and you guys can think about something else. But I'm going to give you mine now.
Yeah,
is I can get you in the gym.
Yeah,
and you want to build your legs.
Yeah.
I can get you to build your legs, or you guys as personal trainers can get someone to build legs with 20 different exercises. It doesn't necessarily need to be squats. It can be leg press, leg extension, lunges, mix and match of reps, ranges, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
To me, it really doesn't come down to exercise selection all that much at the end of the day.
Yeah.
As long as you're putting your body under duress.
Different stimulus.
You're going to build muscle.
Sure.
Yep.
It really doesn't matter too much about supplements. At the end of the day, it's going to help you achieve your goal quicker. It's going to achieve your goal.
It's going to add percentage points.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's not going to get you to your. It's not going to prevent you from not getting to your end goal.
Yeah.
It's going to assist you along the way.
Yeah.
And assist greatly, but it's not going to be the be all and end all. Is you're not going to. I can't get below 10% because I'm not taking a fat burner. Well, you can, but it's going to assist you in doing that.
Yeah.
The thing that I think that comes down to that's very simple that people don't do is just like counting calories. Finding your calorie midpoint or your calorie staying point, and then eating in a calorie deficit.
Sure.
I think that's the simplest thing that people don't do in terms of fitness.
You know that you're saying this, and 2 out of the 3 people in this room don't count their calories.
But we know what to do. That. But all right. Well, let me rephrase that. But then you're not in a calorie deficit or you're not in a calorie surplus.
Yeah.
How many people do you see go into a gym and you can do whatever you want. People's goal is to lose weight, and they go in and they do their half-hour of cardio. They do a 45. Mostly women doing an hour of cardio. They're doing the things. They're putting their body. They're increasing their expenditure.
Yep.
No matter what that is. But at the end of the day, they're eating too much.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're never going to reach your body composition goal, which is really what people are in the gym for, is body composition, to lose weight or put on muscle. You're not going to reach it unless you're eating correctly or eating in a calorie deficit or calorie surplus, depending on your goals.
Yeah.
I think that's the simplest thing that people don't do. The easiest way to get there is by counting your calories and tracking your calories throughout the day. And it's even easier in today's world of smartphones. You can scan a barcode.
Got all the resources,
you can scan a barcode on a smartphone, put it into MyFitnessPal, and it can tell you how many calories you're on. And it can even work out how many calories you need.
Yeah.
Obviously, a step from that is the working out the macronutrient needs, which is a little bit more difficult at times. But if you go just a simple 35-30 split, which is very simple for most people, the thing is the smartphones do that.
Yeah.
It's very simple. And I think that that's the main thing that people do is you can see people in the gym for 2 years that just don't train, don't change their body at all. And we've all seen that. They're all doing their exercise. They're in there for an hour every night. They're doing their chest, hitting. It's not that they're not putting in work, but they're not eating correctly based on their goals.
Yeah.
And they could be taking their fat burners. They could be taking that's the thing, fat burners don't work unless you're in a calorie deficit.
Yep.
You can run for 2 hours a day, but at the end of the day, if you're not in a calorie deficit, you're not going to lose weight. So I think the front foremost in your goal to achieving your goal physique, before anything else, the simplest thing you can do is ensure that you're either in a calorie deficit or calorie surplus, depending on your goals.
Actually be aware of that. And that's actually a great example because I have every single day I have people slide into my DM on Instagram or even on the MassiveJoes Snapchat with similar, I'm trying to build muscle or I'm trying to lose body fat. I'm doing this amount of cardio. I'm training this much. I'm taking these supplements. What can you recommend? And always my first, if I'm getting those sorts of messages, is what's your caloric intake? What's your macronutrient intake?
Well, and that's
9 times out of 10,
they don't know.
I don't know.
That's like one of my mates just joined up and he said, I'm looking for a supplement. Obviously, everyone in my life knows I work at MassiveJoes. I'm looking for a supplement because I want to target my stomach fat. I said, no worries. What does your diet look like? I'm sure it will be due to too many carbs in your diet. Because I know he goes and eats.
Just don't know.
I know when he goes and eats Subway, and I know he goes and eats rolls because he's a tradie. He doesn't prep his meals. He's not eating. He's not following nutrient timing. Insulin resistance, all those kind of things are all an issue to him because he doesn't know. That's the thing.
And there's no reason not to know. This is the thing, is like it's so simple.
You can use
because of the resources now. It's like literally you just don't want to sit. I don't know what it is, but you just don't want to sit down and even like think about what you're putting into your body in a 24-hour period.
The thing is, people don't know. The thing is there's so many. You can use the MassiveJoes website. We've got our calorie calculator on the website. The thing is, you go in there, write your details. It'll give you a rough guide of what you need to do based on what you want your goal to be. The thing is, you just follow that for 2 weeks. What happens to my body?
Why do you actually think people don't want to do that? Like for us, it's not.
I want to get there.
I want to. No,
that's where
I'm intrigued to know why people don't do this.
And I want to go there as well.
Like with you guys, but even you guys with me though. You guys with me will know that I've always been forever bulk Neve. Thing is, I didn't know what a calorie deficit was until I did F45. I put myself into a calorie deficit.
Of course.
And now people know me as leaner. Not as lean as I was. But thing is, I didn't know calorie deficit. I wasted 10 years of my training.
I wouldn't say waste.
Well, I didn't.
very, very tough for a while there, mate.
But I probably didn't achieve optimal results that I could have if I had followed a diet that was more
keep
suited.
in mind, mate, you ate steak and nuts probably 4 or 5 times a day in a true mash shake. It wasn't exactly a perfect diet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. But imagine if it was a perfect diet. Like I ate shit and just didn't really pay any attention to it.
That's the thing, though, and people have to understand if you eat shit, you're going to get shit results.
Yeah, and that's the thing.
And when you're getting back to those basics, is being the most basic thing with your physique goals is your diet.
Once
if
again,
you're not putting the time into that, you're not going to get the results.
That's the thing is when I'm having 2 true mass shakes a day. And then all the other fucking rice and steak and barbecue sauce I was having, I wasn't even fucking peaking at it. I was that far over the mark of even calorie maintenance. No matter what I was doing, I was walking every day, doing all those kind of things. The fat wasn't budging.
No, because you were probably 2,000 calories.
Exactly. But the thing is, it's the simple thing I could have done. I could have not done cardio. I could have done all these things just by swapping my diet up.
Just by being aware.
Knowing what my calories were.
I just want to draw the line here as well, because there's a difference right now as well when you start talking about diet, about sticking to a diet. Okay, because that, especially if you're in caloric deficit, can be quite difficult because of the foods that are in your diet, maybe your energy levels, so on and so forth. So we're just talking very base level.
This is just getting started.
The basics of actually just thinking, just even getting an app and tracking your meals for every day for a week to figure out what you're consuming.
But it's not just an ongoing lifestyle decision. It's what you want to achieve at that current point in time.
That's right.
At points in time you want to cut, at points in time you want to bulk. Correct. So you adjust your calories. That's the first thing you do. What's the first thing you do? You don't go in and suddenly change your exercises.
No.
You don't go in and suddenly change all your supplement stack. The first thing you change is your diet.
And apart from cardio, and because you've obviously just started prepping, is your weight training is never going to change. Ever.
It doesn't really at all, no.
Ever. Through the year, it doesn't change. It's always just progressive overload.
Correct.
It's volume. But, the diet is what fixes everything and gets you to the position that you want to be in on stage. Supplements are going to change a little bit, sure. But, one concept of training where people go, they put so much time and effort into training when really that's not going to get them the results.
And that brings me back to Joel's original point of squats is, that's all well and good. You can perfect their squat form. But at the end of the day, if they're not eating in calorie surplus, their legs aren't going to grow no matter what they do.
And man, if you look back to training again, if you're not hitting the fundamental principles of progressive overload, you can have the best squat form in the world. You're not going to grow a set of legs.
That's right. I'm going to give you guys a couple of examples that I've thought of. The first one is down the dieting path again, and it's almost I guess the next step in simple. Once you've figured out what you're actually consuming, so you have a baseline for your caloric intake and your macronutrient intake, and then you start considering that you want to alter that to put yourself in caloric deficit or caloric surplus, or just tighten up your what you're consuming. The next step is meal prep. Right? Simple. Like once you figure out what you're cooking, simple, and there's magnitude of resources out there to help you. But so many people just don't do it.
And that's definitely like, but that's the thing though.
Yeah.
Is that not knowing your calories?
Yeah.
You can't meal prep without knowing what your calories are.
No, and that's why the two are related.
Yeah, so that's the thing.
Let me go another step deeper. And this is one also that I get all the time. And this one really frustrates me because this is like the most, in the health and fitness lifestyle, as far as I'm concerned, this is possibly the most simple. Not taking your supplements.
Forgetting to take them.
Forgetting to take them. Like sups that you take on a daily basis. Your fish oils, your creatine for fellas, your test boosters for ladies, your estrogen blockers, your daily sups that you've spent money on to pay for, that people will hit me up.
Hang on. You don't get hit up with people who forget to take them.
Dude, I'm telling you.
You do not, man.
I do.
You're kidding me.
100%. I do. And I'm just like, this is the most simple.
You know, like,
but even more frustrating because you've invested the money and
you've bought them already.
It's
not
products,
like, because don't get me wrong, there'll be times where I'll forget to take supplements because I don't have them at home. It's like, I forgot to.
No, this is. I'm saying you have your sup stack. You know what you're supposed to be taking. You know when you're supposed to be taking it, and you forget to take your creatine every day. And then you complain that your creatine's not working. Or with fellas are the worst.
I forget to take the test booster for a week.
It's the test boosters. It's like, man, you know, and I get it. It's like I started, you know, taking this test booster and it was fantastic for a couple of weeks. And, you know, then it like I didn't really feel much. And I'm like, okay, well, you know, what did you do with your dosing and whatnot? Well, you know, I kind of forgot to take it. And, you know, I was taking it every second day. And I'm serious, man. I'm serious. I think this is the most simple.
This is
from a fitness perspective.
I just want to know why people what actually stops people from doing this though.
Okay, so this is where I want to go with this. This is kind of the next level of thought. Is okay. What prevents people from executing on the things that are simple? Why would you not look at your diet and become aware of your caloric and macronutrient intake? Once you've done that, what is preventing you from doing your meal prep once or twice a week or however frequently you need to meal prep? What prevents you from taking your supplements consistently every day when you know you need to take them for them to work? And it's separate to things that are difficult, right? Because things that are difficult inherently, you know, there's reasons why you don't want to do them because they cause you to be uncomfortable, they cause pain, so on and so forth. But things that are not difficult, things that are simple,
well, man,
why do people not do them?
These are the most simple things. You know, like eating is a simple concept. You know, taking your supplements is not difficult.
Yeah, cooking food.
Yeah, mate, you've got to eat. You know what? You don't know how to cook? Well, go speak to your mum and tell her, you know, she can teach you how to cook.
Especially with how many meal prep companies there are these days.
But not even that, man. Like I think that's another thing.
That's what I mean. Like, it's even simpler. It's simpler these days than
exactly. Like, you know, when we started training, man, there wasn't a meal prep company. There was no one to actually, you know, 10, 15 years ago, there wasn't someone to cook your meals for you. Yeah. Especially if you wanted clean meals. Honestly, does it come down to just pure laziness, or is it the fact that people just don't have a routine in their life to actually follow? Because for me, like especially like you talking about the supplements, which just fucking blows my mind.
Yeah. Me too.
Yeah, like my daily routine is, you know, it's very, very simple, but I do things the same every single day. Taking my supplements is, you know, every morning as soon as I wake up, I take an aspirin, I have, you know, water, I have salt, I have all this shit. Yeah. But it's just what I do every single day. Yeah. Whether I wake up at 4 a.m. or whether I wake up at 8 a.m. or whatever it is, it becomes that routine. So is it the fact that people just don't have a routine to know that at 9 o'clock in the morning I take this supplement and this supplement and this supplement? Like, you know, what is it? It blows my mind.
I think that there's definitely an argument to be had there about, you know, triggers and routines and you know, consequences for missing triggers and how you set up your routines. And if, you know, something doesn't fit into your daily routines, even though on face value it might look simple, it actually becomes inherently difficult because it's abrasive against the routine that you're used to performing, right? So if you're not used to, let's use the supplement thing for example, right? If you're not in the routine of taking your daily supplements, let's say every morning when you wake up, you know, you wake up, you have your coffee or your, you know, whatever beverage you have in the morning, you take your sups, and that's part of your routine. If you're not in that routine, it inherently becomes difficult. You know, it looks simple to take your fish oil every morning and your, whatever supplement stack you're taking daily. It looks simple, but because it's abrasive to the routine that you're used to performing.
But it's very easy to start a routine though, man. You do it a couple of days in a row. Absolutely. It's not so, what's stopping people from creating that routine? I mean,
but does it come back to what we were talking about before though, is lack of patience and actually waiting to see results. Yeah. I mean, some things like...
But that's the thing though, man. If we're talking like back to that supplement thing, if you're not doing these simple things, you're not going to get the results. So, you can be... Your patience is non-existent because even if you want it now, you're not taking the stuff to actually get you there.
That's the thing, but a lot of people will say like, oh, I didn't notice anything from the test booster and it's been 2 weeks. Yeah. And well, it's been 2 weeks, mate. Like, the other thing that blows my mind, and this is even bigger than the test booster thing, is when kids come in and they're like, oh, I'm looking for a mass gainer. It's like, what do you want? What have you been using? Oh, I use serious mass, but I didn't really notice much. Well, what do you mean you didn't notice much?
How do you put 1,000 calories in your diet?
No, that's the thing. That's the thing is that I didn't really put in any weight. I'm like, you have to that's the thing. Then it comes back to obviously them not knowing their diets and not knowing their calories. And I'm like, well, you have to eat other food and you might have to have a couple of days to put yourself in a calorie surplus. No matter what you do, it's not going to work. Like just because one tub says BSN and the other one says ON, it's not magically going to build muscle for you. Yeah. It comes back down to diet. I mean, the other thing is as well is like, is it that they don't have a why of why they're actually wanting to do it. Yeah. Like if you've got a reason for wanting to train, a reason for wanting to meal prep. I mean, a lot of my mates over the years that I went to school with have always been guys that go to the gym on and off. Like they'll go to the gym for 4 days the first week and then 3 days the second week and then they'll start going 2 days the next week and then 1 day and then 1 day every 2 weeks. Yeah. And then they'll have 4 weeks off and like, fuck no, I'm getting back into it this week. Yeah, I mean, but even stuff like that, I don't know why they get all amped up. They go buy the sups. They've all got the MassiveJoes gears. They all walk around wearing MassiveJoes gear. And the thing is, they'll go for 4 days, and then 3 days, and then they'll buy all the sups. They'll do everything, and then just drop off. And that's back to maybe it's because the why. I'm not sure. Yeah. But the same thing about the sups is why aren't they doing it? It's because they bought it, and that's what they got sold. They don't really have a why. They don't know why they're taking it. Yeah. So I reckon that there's definitely something to be said about the path that you're talking down here, Neve. But I mean, continue. But the thing is, when we're talking about simple things, to me, the simplest thing is actually walking into the gym. Sure. But why is that an issue for other people as well? Sure. And once again, I think that you kind of start to possibly blur the lines between challenges coming up and things that make what appears simple at face value quite difficult for whatever reason. But I'm talking about things that are objectively simple. And I think there's definitely a reason that is tied to the consequences of not doing things, not being immediately visible. Or on the flip side, the consequences of doing things not being immediately visible. And let me give you an example, right? Let's take the meal and then the consequent meal prep as our example. By noting what you're consuming and figuring out your caloric intake and figuring out your macro intake and making changes to it and doing meal prep, you're not immediately going to see the results of that. And if you don't do it, you're not immediately not going to see the results of it, right? You said it took you 10 years to actually go, fuck, I need to pay some attention to my diet, right? With your sups, for example, this whole forgetting to take sups thing, if you do take your sups, you're just your daily ones, right? I'm not talking about your pre-workout that you have the transient, I'm talking about like your fish oils, your creatine, your hormonal supplements. They take a while to kick in, right?
Absolutely.
So if you are taking them, if you are doing the simple thing, there's no direct consequence. There's no immediate feedback. Yeah. And if you don't do it, there's also no immediate feedback. Yeah. And I think that plays into it a lot, is these things are so simple, but because there's no immediate feedback in either direction of doing them or not doing them, even though they're simple, there's no real motivation to do them.
So you think you're getting back to people like not, obviously that whole attitude that we have in today's society of wanting everything now and that immediate effect of it. Yeah. You think it's getting down to that people need to see the results straight away
I think there's an inherent motivational piece that if you do something and you see a result from it straight away, if you like that result,
you're going to keep doing it.
You're going to keep doing it. And on the flip side, if you don't do something and there's some result from that as well immediately, and you don't like that, well, then you're not going to keep not doing it.
Yeah.
Right. So it's almost like the feedback loop. There's almost like a delay in the feedback loop for most things that are really simple on face value that you just should be doing. But because there's no direct feedback loop, because there's no direct consequence in either direction, it's very difficult to motivate yourself to do them.
Look, I'll be crystal clear here. So normal subs, fish oil, I have once every 2 weeks. And that's when only because if I see the tub in the kitchen, and step 2, if I can be fuck taking the lid off it to get it out. Like, I don't have my normal subs, then it just doesn't cross my mind.
Yeah.
Really?
No.
Yeah.
Dude.
Like, sometimes, like, if I'll have a multivitamin, I'll put it directly next to my... Every morning, though, I'll have a fat burner in my MassiveJoes shaker as I walk out the door. Every day, without fail.
But think about... But why? Right? If you take or don't take the fish oil, you don't feel any different.
Exactly. But the thing is...
If you forget to take your fat burner...
Yeah, I notice it.
You're half asleep for the rest of the day.
That's the thing, though.
But this is exactly what I'm saying.
But like stuff like I'm a big fan of the ATP range. But lately, I've going through my current tub of resilience. I've only ever had one. Yeah. Because I take 3 tablets every 4 days.
Wow.
Like, I got some at that fucking MassiveJoes clearance sale. I got the 5% liver and organ defenders. I still got like 15 cases at home. Not that many, but like, because I just don't notice anything from it. Yeah. And so I don't take it.
Because of this delayed feedback loop. Yeah. Right. But you but you know, right?
But the thing is, like, but then talking about that thing, I'll take QuadRx before bed because I notice I get a better sleep from it. Of
course.
Because I notice something from it. Whereas, just the other stuff I just don't take.
But that being said, like, you know that over, you know, a longer period of time, the benefits of taking something like a fish oil consistently or resilience consistently or those things that don't have that transient effect are going to have a positive effect.
Exactly.
You know that. But the feedback loop is too delayed, right?
Exactly.
And now this ties into what you were saying about it needs to be part of routine. It needs to be part of habit. Because there's no motivator on the consequential end of doing or not doing these things that are simple but not easy, you need to have some other way of motivating yourself to do it. You need to have some other way of having these simple but not easy tasks built into your daily routine. And that's why actually being aware and consciously setting the habits and routines that are going to support whatever goals you're trying to achieve over, you know, a longer period of time becomes so important.
Yeah, 100%, man. 100%. Because that's the thing, like, you know, if you get back to that fish oil, like you said, you have that fat burner on the bench ready to go. Yeah. Why the hell can't you do that with your fucking fish oil and all the other shit too and just take it all at the same time?
The fish oil is 30 centimetres to the left. Every morning I'll walk in, turn the pantry light on, grab my MassiveJoes shaker from the left-hand side.
Yeah.
Go past the fish oil?
Grab fish oil because I got a fucking fat burner and the tub of protein at the right-hand side. I'll grab them, go to the other side, all the normal stuff's in the middle. Nah, fuck yes. Just don't worry about it.
Not happening.
No, not happening today, mate. See you tomorrow, fishy. Doesn't happen.
So I guess the solution that we have for the people out there who have obviously hit you in the DMs and said, man, I'm not having trouble taking my fucking supplements.
Listen, man.
And people who can't follow their diet, what is the solution for them?
And, you know, before we give the solution, you know, the people listening to this podcast, watching this podcast, if you take a deep, hard look inside, I'm happy you opened up, Neve. You showed a little bit of vulnerability. We all do this shit, you know. We do. I do it. You know 100%.
I got to say, I did miss taking my creatine this morning. I just thought about it.
No, 100%.
But it's only because I didn't train.
Yeah.
And there's still...
Because it's not
8 hours left in the day and I'm going to take it.
Right?
Yeah.
But I guarantee you, in a fitness context, we all do this to a certain level, right?
Yeah, but man, I'm not missing it for 2 weeks.
No. And the reason why we all do it is because it's human nature.
Yeah.
Because there isn't that immediate feedback loop. And if it's not part of your routine and habit, which especially if you're trying something new, it's not going to be right at the start. You have to build that shit in. We all do it. So everyone listening, if you're like, nah, I don't do that, fuck off.
Yeah, don't talk shit.
If you're watching this on you know, if you're watching the recording and you're like, nah, I'm good,
man. I take all
everything,
my shit.
Everything that's
Bullshit.
Simple but easy, I do. No, you don't.
No.
Let's be honest for a second. So then the question is, what practical advice can we give from a fitness perspective?
Well, I think the thing is, especially with like the meal prep, is obviously like with the meal prep, the easiest thing to do is there's that much. 10 years ago when I first got into actual weight training or bodybuilding, the only way to get a diet is to go to a bodybuilding coach.
Yeah.
Because you thought that they somehow had the magical answers and magical foods that were going to somehow make you bigger or smaller.
They had the knowledge, right? Whereas now the knowledge is
the internet, is everywhere. As I said, it's MassiveJoes website. You can go in there, type in your details, and we'll actually give you a sample diet plan based on your goals. It's that easy. There's a lot of websites that do it. You can go in and type daily calorie calculator, and it'll give you your daily calories, and then you can type that into MyFitnessPal. Go scan the barcodes of all the food you have, weigh it out,
simple.
And it will tell you how many calories you've eaten, how many calories you've got left in the day. It's that easy to do. Then the stuff, I guess, with the sub side is just, and the meal prep, as you said, is preparation. I'm sure if I had like the MassiveJoes pill container and had all the pills for the day set out, to go, and I walked in, as I grabbed my fat burner, popped Wednesday open, took Wednesday, walked out and drank it, I'd do it. But instead of me, as I'm there, I have to open the fish oil, have to open the multi-food, have to open the resilience, have to open NAD caps, those kind of things. I don't do it because I'm not prepared. If it's there ready to go, and I spent 5 minutes on a Sunday night getting it all ready for the week, I wouldn't stuff it up. The same thing with prep is a lot of people say, I don't have time to cook. But the thing is, when I cook twice a week, chop up my chicken, put it in the oven for 20 minutes. It's done for twice a week. My total cooking time is probably an hour, but 40 of those minutes is while I'm off doing other stuff while the oven's cooking away. And it just leaves and then comes back and it's done. So I think a big thing is as you said before, is people might not know how to cook.
But man,
it's easy. I mean, that's
not hard to fucking learn.
But the thing with the internet, if I can learn how to fucking cook, anyone can cook.
Yeah.
Especially with the internet, though, we're in the age of technology. It's that easy to learn anything you need to know.
100%, man. Totally agree.
I think really the solution here from a fitness perspective, the practical advice that we can give, the title of this episode is Simple But Not Easy, is figuring out what routines, what habits, what things you can prepare,
make it easier,
how you can organize to make the simple things easy. And that comes down to, firstly, having awareness, being honest with yourself, showing a little bit of vulnerability and going, you know what, fuck, man, I don't take those sups I'm supposed to take every day, or I don't really scrutinize my diet the way I should, or I don't do my meal prep. Figuring out, what's actually not making that easy, because it's simple, so there's got to be something not making it easy. And if it's abrasive to your current routines and habits, well, that's your answer.
Change it.
Implement it. If there's another reason for it, identify that and remove it, so that the simple then does become easy.
100%, man. And set yourself, like, you start with a daily routine and a weekly routine. So you know that every morning, you take those basic vitamins, minerals, all that sort of stuff. You do whatever you need to do you make that routine. You, as far as, getting your meals right, you have that routine, that you're eating breakfast at 9 o'clock, you're having lunch at 12, and you start to build that routine from there. When it comes to meal prep and things like that, you know that on Sunday night you're cooking, and then on, say, Wednesday night you're cooking, and you make that routine so that that, if you're that dedicated to it and someone says, oh man, I want to go out for dinner on, Sunday night. Okay, cool. I'm doing it Sunday afternoon or I'm doing it Wednesday morning or whatever it is. But you know that on those specific days and those specific times, you have stuff that you need to do. And that's where we're talking about those triggers, that the time triggers it to go, right, this day, this time, this is what's happening.
The thing with society, though, is that people, I think, are still a bit standoffish, though, with a lot of those things. Is not completely, totally socially acceptable. I mean, it's getting a lot better. Remember when I first, especially, obviously, MassiveJoes is different because everyone's the same, but when I was landscaping, everyone would say I'm institutionalized because I'd eat at 7 o'clock, 10 o'clock, I'd have my whatever at 2 o'clock. And the thing is it because it's not normal? That's the thing, though. And that's why I don't think it comes easy to people, because it's not easy. As you said, easy, but the thing is, like, stuff like that, such as just eating on time and taking those subs is not ingrained into us from an early age. It's things you do have to teach yourself, and you do have to learn.
100%.
And you have to make those lifestyle changes.
But like Joe said before, though, man, there's going to be times where, you didn't prep your meals on a Sunday because you were doing something, or you got back from holidays or whatever it might be, but you need to have a backup plan as well. And, when the routine falls apart and go, right, well, man, I didn't cook my meals, what do I do then? If you miss the supplements you meant to take in the morning, what's the backup plan to that? And have that backup plan there ready to go, that, if you didn't take it in the morning or whatever it might be, or you forget to take your creatine, what's your plan for that?
I think that comes with experience as well, though. I mean, I know for us guys, if we miss a chicken meal, I mean, you look at places, Nando's, Hungry Jack's, McDonald's, any of those, even those kind of fast food places will do some kind of chicken salad meal.
Yeah,
Subway will do
definitely.
a chicken salad bowl. Coles do. You can go there, as we do, go just buy chicken from the deli and buy a salad bowl from the fruit and veg section. The thing is that you got to learn to, as you said, adapt to those different changes, but keep it simple. I mean, it'll still work. It's still effective, but it's just simple, and that's why we do it. Especially if we don't have time to cook, we'll just get someone else to cook for you.
Yeah, man, exactly. Like there's no rule to say that you have to meal prep. You know, there's ways around it because we're
the next step though is being what's the word? Is being not going out and eating shit. Like I haven't prepped my meals, so it doesn't really matter about my meals today.
No, I'm not worrying about it. I'm going to get
making promises to yourself.
Yeah.
I think, you know, and
discipline's the word I was looking for. Is a bit of discipline.
But that's what making promises to yourself is, right? And keeping those promises is you know, once again, and I think this is probably one of the big pieces of content that people take from listening to this is that feedback loop is not immediate.
No,
it's not
definitely
immediate.
not, man.
So even just being aware of that and going, you know what, if I don't meal prep on this Wednesday or whatever, and I'd stray off my diet a little bit, there's not going to be an immediate feedback loop. You're not going to put on 10 kilos in 3 days of body fat. It's not going to happen. But that's where it becomes important to make the promises to yourself, understand that the feedback loop is not immediate, but there is going to be a delayed feedback loop.
Absolutely.
Make those promises to yourself, start practicing keeping those promises, which is effectively practicing discipline, and understanding that the things that are often simple but not easy are the most important things.
I'm glad you said that because they are the most important.
They're the basics, man.
The basics, man. And that's, where we talk about the basics, that, like you said, they're so simple, but they are the most important. And, things like taking your fish oil every day and preparing your meals and eating the right food, it might seem like, it's not such a big deal, but, man, it is. And it's going to get you those extra percentages that are going to get you to where you want to get to faster.
And the reason why they don't seem like they're that important, Swole, is because there's no immediate feedback loop.
100%.
Like if you do something, if you take a massive action, for example, that has a massive consequence immediately, you can see that, right? So in your mind, you think that that's important because the consequence is right there and often quite severe or quite significant in either direction. The problem with the basics is there is no immediate consequence. So in your mind, it's human nature to think that it's not important.
Not important. Yeah.
But they are the most important.
Yeah.
Over a sustained period of time.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's flip the script. Let's talk about business.
Business ethics.
So we're taking the same topic. And obviously this is going to put a little bit of a different spin on it because we're talking business, we're talking career, we're talking work life instead of fitness life. Once again, the things that are simple but not easy. Hit me with some examples.
But not easy throws a bit of a spanner into it.
But this is the whole point, right? Because the simple but difficult is a completely different discussion because you can justify why you don't do shit because it's hard to do it.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the shit that there's just no excuse not for doing. Well, there is an excuse. We'll get into it. Well, it's still not an excuse. There's a justification.
This man is intriguing me with where he's going with this thing.
I'm talking in circles now. I'm talking in circles. But this is like this is the shit that I see like every day, man.
Can I at least write? I'm going to say the simplest thing. This is not completely because it's not difficult. But I'm going to say the simplest thing in business that I think people fail to do.
Yes.
Is preparing their day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not writing a list. Not getting things done.
Time management?
Time management as well.
Okay.
I think time management is difficult to a lot of people. Preparation is a big deal to a lot of people. If you're not writing down and you forget things to do each day, I mean, you're a big list guy.
Big.
Dude, have you seen his fucking list? He has a list of what he's doing for the podcast. He has every page before has a list of what he's doing for the week. And page behind that,
I'm the list king.
But
a
lot of people will struggle to do that.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily difficult to fucking get a pen out and write it down, but for some people it probably is as well. And I know for some people it is. My old landscaping boss fucking is the worst prepared guy I've ever met in my life. He'll take 7 trips to Bunnings throughout the day.
Yeah, he's just going there for the fucking sausages.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the thing. Like, instead of writing a list, I'm at the job let's look around. I need 3 bags of cement, 2 of these, 7 of these. I need 2 ton of loam delivered.
Yeah.
He'll go and pick up 1 ton in his ute and come back.
Yeah.
1 ton in his ute, come back. Go to the Bunnings and get a bag of cement, come back. Oh, fuck, I forgot my trowel. I left my trowel at home. Oh, I'll drive home, or do I drive to the Bunnings?
Go Bunnings and get a fucking another one.
Yeah, so like just stuff like that, but not actually making lists of what you need to do. But not even that, but like materials that you need. I bring it back to landscaping in here because it's a lot of tradies.
You can talk about it however you want.
But
man.
the thing is, a lot of people do like stuff like that. It is lists, and I think especially running a business, what do you need to do each day? On Monday, especially for me, like Mondays, I know that Monday are my KPI meetings. Tuesdays my meeting with Joe.
Yeah,
I've got lists, but then the other thing is keeping a calendar as well as lists. At 1:30 this week, I've got a meeting with this distributor or this retailer. We've got our podcast at 3:30 p.m. on Thursday. We've got Weekly Word at 1 p.m. on Thursday. It's having lists, and that way you can base your structure, your day around. And I think that's a big thing that probably, I don't really know, it's a lot of people, but a lot of people don't actually keep lists or keep diaries.
I think it's getting back to that list thing, man. It's very important for people. You know, it's especially in today. Like you have so much stuff going on that you know a lot of people will have all this stuff in their head. You know, the ideas of what they have to do to the day, and you know. Yeah. While the hustle and bustle of everyday life happens, that list that you've got in your head actually gets lost, and you'll forget 3 or 4 things that you were meant to do that day, rather than actually writing it down. And you know, you look at technology these days, and we're looking at talking before about like Calorie King and all this sort of thing. There's no set rule that you have to use an A4 bit of paper like Joe's got here. There's apps and all sorts of shit that you can use these days to write these simple lists. And like you said, so simple to do, where you write down, you're driving in your car on the way to work, you're like, shit, I've got to give this person a call. Quickly write it down. So that way when you get to work and all of a sudden something happens, you get a call from someone else, you don't forget to give that person a call or something like that.
Like, especially with voice activation as well, you can tell Siri.
You don't even have to write anything down.
You can put it in your calendar, press the microphone button, and it puts it in there. You don't have to get out a pen and write it on your hand to remember to do shit like you used to do back in the day. The thing is, though, it's just another thing where people are lacking preparation. I mean, as you said, without doing a list, and Joe does the same. There's a lot of things you can put into your smartphone. It will sync it across to your laptop and sync it across to your iPad. And then if you want, you can sync it to all your employees' phones or to their calendars as well. I mean, it's not really new stuff, but it's just something that I don't think many people actually do, which is very.
It's not even that, man. It's not whether that people do it or people don't do it well, where they write a list down, but then they'll write it down, but then completely forget about it.
Just not follow it.
And just not follow it.
So I think, like you're saying, your example from a business career perspective of something that's simple but not easy is time management.
Time management and organisation, I think.
Generally speaking.
Well, and time management and organisation.
Yeah. Okay.
How are you going to organise your day to be profitable?
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is you can be at work doing things, but if you're not organising your time properly, time management.
Profitable too, man. That I don't want the listeners to think that comes down to money as well. It comes down to time and how you're using your time efficiently.
Return on time investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
If you're there for 8 or 10 hours, you want to make sure that you're using those 10 hours efficiently. So it doesn't have to return, an investment as far as dollars come. It's an investment in your time and making sure that you're using that.
I mean, let's go back to the tradie example I used before. Is if you could say, I work 60-hour weeks, but if 25 of them are spent driving around picking up stuff instead of going in the morning getting one trip delivered to the work site on the back of a Newton Standard metal truck.
Yeah, 100%.
Get everything you need delivered to you. You're not driving around. You're not wasting time in traffic.
And then, it comes down.
You're at work still working on the job because you've got stuff there already ready to go on with. Yeah. You're not actually losing any time. And all of a sudden, you've just getting an extra 25 hours a week.
Yeah, because you're not driving around everywhere. Yeah.
Well, what's your example?
Man, that was a good one, though. That's hard to follow up on. That is such
I'll follow up on it.
Let's hear one. Let's hear one of yours, because you've got like 5 or 6.
I do. And these are just things that I see, in this business. And, Neve, you probably concur with a lot of these because you're my sidekick.
Fucking Robin.
Batman and Robin. Hey, you're an Eminem fan. You should love being Robin. Shit. A lot of what we do from a business procedure and processes perspective is, a lot of, because there's so many different moving parts of this business, is a lot of things are, this has to be done by this time. These are the effectively to-do lists for different parts of the business, different people within the business. These are the things that you have to do. They're incredibly simple things to do. And at every time we have a review or every time we come to an end of month meeting, so on and so forth, we go through and it's like, okay, you were supposed to do 2 of these per month and 20 of these per month and, 5 of these per month, and it's simple shit. And how often does it all get done?
No, not very often.
Not very
A lot
often.
of the time.
Just like literally, and this goes beyond the time management and organization, because for the most part, we're setting this shit out for different people in this business.
The thing
It's like,
is-
this is what you have to do, and it's simple.
No, but the thing,
and do it.
The thing is, where they're falling apart though, is we're telling them what to do. We're not telling them how to do it, and I think a lot of that is due to planning as well, though.
Yeah.
The thing is where, and it comes back to the fitness thing, like we said before. But let's keep it to business here.
Yeah.
Is that we're telling them what to do, we're telling them what they need to do, but we're not telling them how to get there. So they need to do 20 Instagram posts a month. They need to go in and put on Monday, Tuesday at each day, Monday 5 p.m. post Instagram. Tuesday, 5 p.m. post Instagram.
But that comes down to organisation again, though, man. Like
exactly, but organisation but planning as well is when you're going to do things.
Yeah,
is know that it's exactly the same as a diet. Let's just go quickly back there. But we'll give you a macro plan. How do you get there though? That's the thing. We're not, and we know where you need to be at this amount of macros.
Yeah,
but what meals fill that, and how do you make those meals in the middle? Is that middle gap is most people are missing, I believe.
Okay.
So what, you're saying you need to drive the fucking car for them, mate? Like, you tell them where to go on holidays, you need to drive them there and set them up in the hotel and all that shit. Like, this is the thing though, man. If you're employing people, you're not there to micromanage what they do. And this is where
it depends on the business.
But, you can't be there like babying people all the way through their business.
Well, that's the thing. But that's the reason that KPIs are in place. If you're not meeting those KPIs, then you probably not.
It's all well and good to set those KPIs and planning and all these like targets for people to hit, but it's not up to the guys who set those targets to actually do the work as well.
No, I'm not saying we need to do the work. I'm not saying we do the work. I'm saying they need to do the work. But the issue is if they're not planning in the middle.
Yeah.
If they're not planning in the middle of when they're going to do things, a lot of the time they're finding that if they need to do 20 Instagram posts and it's the 27th of February,
they do them all in 2 days,
and they've got 7 posts left to do.
Yeah.
Fuck, I got to do 7 posts in 2 days. Otherwise, I'm not going to reach my
KPI. I'm still going to push back on that a little bit, and we're running with this example in this particular business, but it applies to a lot of different businesses. And even if you don't run your own business, you're working for someone else. I think that even if you drilled down and you said at this time on this day this needs to get done, and it's simple, I would argue that still there's going to be a bunch of time where shit doesn't get done.
Oh, man, 100%.
Won't get done.
Definitely.
So why is that?
Well, you have to remember that.
Why? And especially if it's like simple shit.
Man, I'll give you, I know this has happened to me on many occasions where, you've got stuff and you set out your list every day, which I do every morning and say, right, this is the stuff I want to get done today. And then all of a sudden, there could be that curveball in the middle of the day that all of a sudden the stuff that you had planned to do, whether it's gone overtime and you haven't given yourself enough, I guess, leeway or time to get one project finished before you move on to the next one, or so you've gone overtime with that, and then you go overtime on the next thing, so you run out of time to do that sort of stuff. Or there's a curveball where something just happens that is completely out of your control that you have to conduct first. So there's always going to be that stuff where, sure, it's great to plan and say, man, I need to get this done at this time on this day. But sometimes it's not going to happen, and it gets back to having that backup plan to going, right, well, if I don't get it done at this time, I get it done at this time, or I get it started at this time, I finish at this time.
But I mean, the thing is it comes back to what I mentioned before in fitness. Yeah. Is it because their why isn't strong enough? Okay. Why are we asking you to do those Instagram posts? Why are we asking you to do those Facebook posts? Why are we asking you to do this on social media? Why are we asking you to do story posts?
So you think it once again is related to the feedback loop?
Well,
or the
like
delayed feedback
why?
loop.
Like, if they don't believe in the reason that it's happening, if you hate Facebook, you hate Instagram, you've deleted Facebook because you don't like it. Thing is, if you go off social media and you don't like Instagram, you only got a Facebook and Instagram because I created them.
I know.
Yeah.
Man, actually, the last time I put a post on Instagram was like July last year.
So that's the thing, though, is that you're not a big fan of Instagram. You don't really like Instagram. So if you don't believe in Instagram, you're going to be less likely than someone like Joe who fucking lives and breathes in Instagram. Yeah. So the thing is, you're like, oh, bloody Joe wants me to do 20 posts a month. And you don't believe in that reason, you're not. I can bet you're going to struggle to get that KPI.
Saying it's a motivation thing.
Yeah, but because your why doesn't correlate with the end result.
Let's dig a little bit deeper into your
that's what I said about the fitness though, is the why.
Yeah.
Is if your why of getting to the gym in the first place isn't strong enough.
Yeah.
You're not going to
go there. And that's the same as in business with those simple tasks. If your why, you don't believe that, that's not a good idea, you're going to say, oh, fucking Joe, I don't think I need to call 10 accounts this month.
Doesn't it get back to, with other podcasts who've spoken about doing shit that sucks, you might not believe in it.
Yeah.
The why might not be there for you, but you understand it's a part of the process that you have to do.
Correct.
To get the goal that you want to get to.
Do they understand that though?
Yeah.
Do they see the bigger picture of why social media is good for business, or do they still think that a lot of businesses might still think that
you're still advertising in the yellow pages and shit like that.
Yeah, and mailbox letter drops are more beneficial than Google or Facebook ads.
And once again, I don't really want to blur the lines with things that suck, because you can justify, why that doesn't get done because it sucks and it's difficult and whatnot. I'm talking about the simple shit, right?
Of course.
And I think that there's probably a little bit more discussion in what you said, because thinking about it now, I do see this a lot, not just in this business, but in the industry, the wider industry, and thinking about things I've done in the past, is the curveball thing once again, right? And this ties into what you said about time management and organization, right? Let's say that you are you organize, or you've got managers that are kind of, holding your hand through and taking care of that for you, or you figured out how to do it yourself. And then these curveballs come in. And I think an inherent part of the proverbial curveball is that it once again has immediate consequences
100%.
Of if it's dealt with or if it's not dealt with, for whatever reason, right? And there's a whole bunch of different curveballs. They can be business related, personal life related, whatever they are. They come in, and your immediate human response to it is, this is more important right now than all of this other shit that's simple that I know I need to do. But this right here, this curveball that's thrown is important, because if I act upon it, there's going to be an immediate consequence. If I don't act upon it, my brain is processing that there's also going to be an immediate consequence, even though there might not be. And in most cases, there probably isn't. Yeah. The way that you interpret that coming in is it needs to be dealt with right now.
So the thing is then, is that your fault for poor time management and poor planning that you've let something come in the other day? Man. But if you know that your task for the end of the month is 20 Instagram posts, they'll go back to that again, get that done at 9 a.m. when you walk in. First thing I need to do, 9 a.m. I do my Instagram post. 9:15 I'll do my Facebook post. Sure. 9:30 I'll do blah blah. I'll open my emails and reply. Send an email to the suppliers. Whatever you got to do for the day. Yeah. Get the important tasks out of the way first that you need to do. Then it doesn't matter what the fuck happens after 12 p.m. If a curveball comes, I think it's fine. You've already got your tasks out of the way. The things with Instagram is there's no excuse, because you can set drafts. I can sit there on a Sunday afternoon and write 50 posts and post them over the next 50 days. Yeah. They're sitting there ready to go. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, I can sit there, and even if it is 5 p.m., you sit there, have a timer on your phone at 5 p.m., post, and it goes off and it's done.
It's coming back to the process again.
It's stuff of having things in place, as you said, and time management, and knowing and planning and knowing what is important and prioritising those important tasks.
I think it comes back to, when we're just talking about those curveballs too, man, is, you need to be able to figure out how to react to those curveballs, because like you said, it can be like you might think, man, I have to get this done now, whereas if you sit there for a minute and go, slow your thinking down and go, right, do I actually need to do this now, or can that wait until I finish the task that I scheduled to do at this time? So reacting to things that happen to you immediately can have an impact on how you actually structure your day to get those tasks done. So that's, I think that's important, is seeing how you actually react to a situation where you've got something planned out, and then that curveball comes along, react to it accordingly.
I've got another example now.
Yeah.
Of something that's simple but difficult.
A simple but not easy.
Is what you said about procedures.
Yeah.
So you just given the goals and the KPIs, for example.
Yes.
But what about procedures such as what we do for the retail store managers, is we give them a retail store survival guide. It's difficult in the first place for Leah to write that up, but it's very simple to write it up though. It's simple to write it up, but it's not just a simple task. But the thing is now, whenever a new manager starts, instead of Leah going and having to train a new staff or train or sit by her phone all day waiting to see if one of the 20 retail staff has an issue, she gives them the retail handbook and they can figure anything out themselves. So stuff like that saves her over time. So now when this business gets bigger and bigger and we've got 200 staff, is we have those procedures in place that really, no matter who goes into what business, you'll know. We've done it with stuff like the Australian Supplement Awards. We put things, all right, this is the first step, this is the second step, this is the third step. Now putting procedures in place for the MassiveJoes Challenge, those kind of things, they're very simple to put procedures in place. Yeah, they're probably difficult the first time to work out the kinks and work out what's happening. Then further on down the track, as we've seen this year, we've done it before now. We know what to do. We put procedures in place. So now it just flows.
Yeah. You're correct. But I think you're kind of getting off track a little bit.
But it's exactly the same as KPIs though.
Not so much, because those are once-off things, right? Once it gets done, it does get once, right? I'm talking about the stuff the basics that need to be done repetitively, consistently. They're simple, but they don't get done. But
procedures are simple and don't get done.
Exactly.
How many businesses do you walk in? That's what I'm saying. How many businesses do you walk into and they've got a procedure guide for every part of the business?
Yeah.
Hardly any.
But you only have to do it once and set up.
But it still doesn't get followed, is what I'm saying. Why is it not getting followed? It's right there. It's step by step. It's simple, but it's not easy. What causes it to not be easy? Is it no? But, yeah, and but the typical the vanilla answers are people are just lazy, or people get bored. It's boring. Okay, sure, right, fair enough. But dig a little bit deeper.
I think it still comes back to, man, because you don't get the immediate result of it. Following that basic procedure of step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You get to the end of it and you go, okay, whatever. But you don't see the immediate result of that. Whereas, like you said before, that curveball that might come in that you think that's more important to do, you get the result done, there's an immediate result for that. And then so it's almost like that, I'm not sure whether it's reward comes to it, that, you think, okay, well, now I have to get that done, but you get away from those procedures and the daily processes that you need to do that are going to get you the end result. So I still think that, what we were talking about before, same as fitness, it still comes back to the, what were you talking about? The feedback loop. Yeah. So it still comes back to that again. So it's not stupidity, it's not laziness, it's just people's reaction to the feedback and whether it's something that they need to do.
This is really, you guys know what we're trying to accomplish with this podcast is to give people some practical advice. So once again, you're listening to this, you're doing a little bit of, deep diving, and you go on, in my business or my career or my work life. I can identify some situations where there's things that are laid out for me and they're simple and I just don't fucking do them. Right. So I don't want to just say you don't do them because you're lazy.
No, it's
I want to give some practical advice here. Like, okay, this is why you're not doing them. This is how you correct it, and this is why it's important to correct it.
Again, man, it's still, like we spoke about with fitness, it's still, and obviously there's always a crossover between this stuff, is what we've noticed, is it just comes down to routine. And knowing what you're doing. Like Steve said before, he knows he's got KPI meetings on a Tuesday afternoon. He knows he's got a podcast on Thursday. He knows he's got meetings with you Wednesday. Is knowing your routine and sticking to that routine. And if that routine means that you get up at 6 a.m. and you start writing down a list of stuff that you have to do for the day to get accomplished, and you do that every single day because it's going to be easier for you to get through that day and tick everything off, then that's what you do. But you have to get into that routine of doing it. It's not one thing you do on Monday and then, don't worry about it on Tuesday, but I'll do it again on Wednesday. You do it every single day. And that obviously sets you up for the rest of the day.
And I think that setting that routine around your work life is important. It needs to become important to you once again, because like use manager KPI meetings, for example, right? You miss them 1 week, there's not really that big a consequence.
You miss them for a month.
You miss them. Well, even if you miss them for a month, right? They get caught by the end of month managers meeting. But if you miss them every month for a year, you get to the end of the year and you go, fuck, this is a complete mess because no one knows what they're supposed to be doing. No one's being held accountable. But it's that feedback loop, right? It's not immediate. There's no immediate consequence for doing or not doing. If you have a management KPI meeting, there's no positive feedback loop for doing it. It's not like you have a meeting, you hold somebody accountable and automatically shit turns around. It doesn't happen like that.
No.
And on the flip side, if you miss a meeting and you're not holding someone accountable, it's not like immediately they fall off the wagon straight away. Once again, it doesn't happen straight away. It's a delayed process. But you need to have the awareness that the shit adds up.
Yeah.
And it is going to have to be dealt with at some point. Either way.
Yeah.
Positively or negatively. You feel me on that? So
Definitely,
I think that's the first thing, is understanding why you have to build these habits and these routines around your work life, is because even that feedback, even though it's not immediate, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
It's just a delayed feedback loop.
Yeah.
I think the second thing, and you did touch on it a little bit, where, you said we have the processes and the procedures, but, we don't spell it out 100% on how to get there. There's this saying that I really like in a business context. And the saying goes that complexity is the enemy of execution. And you see this play out a lot, is often when you set things up that either too difficult, too complex, or they're just not clear enough. There's just not enough clarity around them. They're just not simple enough. It immediately makes it more difficult to do.
Can you tell that to IKEA about their furniture?
But you can see how that plays out, right?
Yeah.
Like if the more simple you can make something, the more clear you can make something, the more easy it is to see how to execute, the easier it becomes to execute.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that's a big part of it, is if you are having issues with completing the so to speak simple tasks that actually aren't simple, figure out how to get some clarity around them, figure out how to make them less complex, figure out this is exactly what I need to do, take some initiative, and make it as easy as you possibly can to execute on. Yeah. As simple as you possibly can.
Which takes me back to the very first
on.
thing I said about planning, though.
Yeah.
If you're not planning the KPI meetings, you're not planning. Yes, I did say planning your day, but it all comes down to planning.
100%.
And if you're not planning your business, planning what you're going to talk about in KPI meetings, like if I sat down and I hadn't planned, if you sat down in a meeting with me, or you sat down with a meeting with the staff and you hadn't planned what you're going to talk about, A, the staff aren't going to take you seriously.
Of course.
B, we're just going to fucking waffle along, and it's going to be like mine and Joel's weekly word is we're just going to waffle on and have no real direction.
Mate, it works though.
Really get nowhere. That's the thing, and probably you're not really going to achieve very much from that meeting. Yeah. Just like your days. If
then they're going to be difficult to call those meetings in the future.
Because people aren't going to take them seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's planning, and it's planning the KPI meetings, it's planning what you're going to do during the day. It really just... And that's some things like those procedures, like I said, that we have the procedures. Some procedures are done once, and never have to redo them.
They're done.
Yeah. My KPI meetings and the KPI spreadsheets I use,
they need to be done.
Yeah,
on
but the thing is,
the
original KPI spreadsheet is done once.
Yeah,
we change the month, we change the days when the Sunday and the Monday falls, what days they fall. Aside from that, and obviously the guys fill in with their
that comes
totals.
back to again, man, is making it as simple as possible, so it's easy to follow.
But that's the thing for our meeting. Joel has to fill in 2 numbers.
Yeah.
Like it's simple.
Takes me at least a good hour and a half to do.
So it's simple for him. Like, but because there's that procedure in place, there's a plan in place. This is what we're going to do, and we've got it with all managers. They've each got their different spreadsheets, and spreadsheets come in a massive thing with our business. But it's that initial planning.
Yeah. And I think that really those are the first 2 steps in defining why the routines and habits are important to set up. Setting them up once you've defined why they are, and then getting rid of the complexity and really breaking things down as basically as you can. But then I think there's another step as well, right? And I think that third step ties into the curveball situation, because you can do these things, right?
Man, you can have a day perfectly planned out.
The perfect routine, the perfect habits. You understand exactly why the shit's important. You understand the delayed feedback loop. You plan it out. You remove all complexity. It's there. It's simple. And then you have a curveball come in. And it's human nature to go and address that curveball straight away because the feedback loop is much more condensed.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? So I think that third step then is you need to be aware of when you're being actionary and when you're being reactionary. And you need to try and wrestle your way to being as actionary as you possibly can be and being the least amount of reaction
Part of that
you
is
possibly can be.
taking out those distractions so they can't occur in the workday.
True. And that's a very face value way of
But one
looking
way
at
to
it.
get rid of them is to
Yep.
get rid of those potential distractions.
Of course. But there's going to be some distractions that you can't get rid of, right? Because life, right? Some shit you just don't have control over and it can come in. And that's the exact curveball situation. By nature, if you have control of removing the distraction, it's not really a curveball, right? You're able to control
But it's how
it.
you react to it, though. If you got an email, telling you that, Joe, we've just seized a $100,000 MTS order, that's a fucking massive curveball to the business.
Of course.
But if you hadn't have checked that email, you wouldn't know about the curveball and it's not going to affect your day.
I do a lot of that personally, right? Because
Yeah.
I won't even my emails. I don't even look at them during the
But
day.
exactly,
anymore. I
that's
look
what
at
I'm
them
saying.
before and after.
That's what I'm saying. Did you remove that distraction from your day?
100%.
If you got a phone call, you don't answer your phone at work.
Okay.
So the thing is, take your phone, put it in the top drawer.
Yeah.
If people need to contact you, all right, I'll check it at 5 p.m. once I've done my task during the day.
Once I've dealt with being actionary, and then I can deal with being reactionary.
But it depends on what your job is. If you're a delivery driver and your car gets a flat tire, obviously you can't just fucking put the flat tire to the side and worry about it at 5 p.m.
You have to deal with that.
But the thing is where you can, is what I'm saying, is where you can get rid of those potential distractions that can cause that curveball.
And even when you can't get rid of them,
But
right?
again, it comes back to how you react to it.
Well, be aware enough to understand what's going on.
Yeah.
To understand, look, if I drop what I'm doing and I get away from the habits and routines that I've set up for this purpose, and I get away from all of the complexity that I've removed to make things as simple as possible, and I get away from that because I'm dealing with this curveball that has an immediate effect, is it really important that I deal with this right now?
9 times out of 10, man, it's not going to be.
Absolutely. But 9 times out of 10, people still allow that in because of the much condensed feedback loop.
Yeah.
So I think that there's something to be said about, you're 100% correct. Where you have control over things over the curveballs that can come in, can you put up brick walls to stop those curveballs coming in? Absolutely, do it. But there's going to be some curveballs that you can't. So when they do come in, have the awareness to actually think about what taking away from the simple things that you need to do that don't have an immediate feedback.
And that can be,
and taking that time, effort, and energy and putting it into this curveball that you probably don't need to do, but does have an immediate impact. And even just being aware of that and analyzing the situation for what it is.
But even like that, you have a procedure in place for when those curveballs come in. And say, you use that email, for example, Steve, where, something's just been seized. You acknowledge that, okay, the email's come in. I need to deal with that. I add it to my list of things I need to do. I find an allotment in my day to deal with it at that particular time and go, right, well, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to deal with that email. Don't do it while you're in the middle of a very important task that you structured through the day to say, right, this is what the time I'm doing this between, say, 12 and 2 o'clock or whatever it might be. That email comes in at 1 rather than jumping on it and going, shit, man, I've got to deal with that. Have the procedure in place to go, right, well, I'm going to find a time in my day and go, right, there's a time there. I put that email in there. That's when I deal with that. And add that to your list of stuff to do at the time that you need to do it.
That's where
that's where it just has that procedure, again, in place to deal with the curveball.
And figuring out as well is how it fits into the overall seriousness of the business as well. By that I mean, like, you could be working on like a new price list, for example, for 30 accounts we've got. And the thing is, those 30 accounts are all waiting for that price list. They want to see the updated flavors. They want to see the new accent stage range. They want order accent stage. Joel, where's the order form? Where's the order form? You're working on that. And then one of our accounts that we supply just placed a $15,000 order. But that's massive. Fuck, that's awesome. But the thing is you've got 30 accounts here that might want to spend 200 grams, 10 grand orders each. Suddenly you've got 300 grand of orders that you have potential of having if you had get that price to, but now you're focusing on a small $15,000 order, which is looking at the bigger picture as well.
100%, man.
And return on investment. All right, this getting out can bring in $300,000 worth of orders tomorrow. This one here is $15,000 now. All right, it's important. But even as you said, acknowledge it. Thanks for the order. I'll process it. Whatever. But wait till after that's done. As you said, to have that first, slot it in second. As soon as that's done, then slot that in. Rather than going off and doing that, and then those guys don't get it, and then they wait another day. Oh, it's Friday afternoon. Oh, I'll send it Monday morning.
I'll send it Monday, and then I'll send it next week, or it gets to Wednesday, or whatever it might be. So
it's good, fellas. I like it. I love when we do.
I hope everyone got a pen and paper.
No,
write that shit down.
I love when we do. I love when we do.
I hope Joel got some out for his cake. You know what I mean?
I love when we do, and this has been happening a lot recently. Is when we do podcasts, and inquisitively, I come into the podcast wanting to have a chat with a couple of mates about some shit I've been thinking about,
and all of a sudden we go fucking deep on it.
But that's why I want to do it. I'm getting more out of the Massive Joe Show than probably the listeners are. This is now become a selfish endeavor.
We've just got a new fucking procedure.
You know what'll happen is we'll have Gary V jab right hook, but it will be Joseph Mencel with all the things you and I have said over the years. Joe released his best-selling book. He's a fucking New York best time seller from stuff that you and me have said during podcasts.
Hey, you guys, I'll put you guys in the credits.
Fucking credits. I'll put a tiny little photo in the back page.
Thanks to everyone and my two sidekicks.
And thanks to Robin
and my disciples. No, but seriously, it's it is good to come into a podcast and have a legitimate question and talk through it with you guys and actually get some clarity.
I can't remember what the fucking question was.
No, man, I'm going to have to listen to the fucking podcast.
Back to the start. So I hope that, the listeners, if you're listening to this or you're watching the footage, I hope that you guys, whether you're listening to this on your favorite podcasting platform or you're watching the footage, have had a similar experience in this episode 12 of the Massive Joe Show. Neve, just to remind you, the topic was simple but not easy.
I lost the topic there a few times.
The importance of doing the basics consistently, and I think that we have delved in and we've got some pretty cool practical advice, both on the fitness side of things and the business side of things for the listeners, man. So I hope you guys have enjoyed listening to this episode 12. We have been getting some really good success with the sharing of this podcast in Instagram stories recently, haven't we, Neve?
Also, the ratings on podcasts is give it a good rating.
100%, yeah. On your favorite podcasting platform, iTunes is probably the best for rating. So make sure if you guys are listening and you're enjoying the content that you do give us a 5-star rating. And if you are listening and we're adding value, it would mean the world to us if you can take a screenshot of your favorite podcasting platform and post it in your Instagram story and tag us in it so we can see it. And
or even just send someone a link who you think it might be beneficial to.
Well, that's the other thing. Or even don't send someone a link. Just tell them.
Yeah.
Say, listen, man, I've been listening to this podcast and Massive Joe Show. These three guys,
they talk shit for an hour, but man, they got some good stuff.
But I get some good value from it. You should listen to it as well. That would mean the world to us, guys. So I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the Massive Joe Show. Big Swole. Thank you, man.
Thank you
for your
very much,
insights.
man.
Big Neve.
I'm happy to be your sidekick.
Thank you for your insights. Okay, Robin.
Dankeschön.
Do you guys have anything else you'd like to add?
Plan it out, man.
Until next time, where we coming to and from, Neve?
MassiveJoes.com.
Stay massive.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Massive Joes Show. Make sure you subscribe on your favorite podcasting platform, whether it be SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Podbean, Stitcher, or TuneIn. And if you enjoyed listening to this episode of the Massive Joes Show, ensure that you give us a 5-star rating on your favorite podcasting platform. Until next time, we're coming to you from MassiveJoes.com. Stay massive. Thank you for listening